Hello, this is Anne. I thought it would be a good idea if we could go over a sample of the annotated bibliography or the summaries of your sources, that assignment for this week. So first let me say I've got a really bad cold and I hope my voice lasts, so just bear with me. First of all, let's look at the assignment for week 9. And it is summarizing sources. I changed the title of it because for decades, literally, that I've been teaching, we've used the phrase annotated bibliography, but in your Lannan and Gurek text and in the APA manual, there is no reference to that phrase, annotated bibliography. So I thought, let's just call it summarizing sources, because that's what it is. You've been asked to collect 7 sources for your topic, and for this, well, you've already handed in your references page in APA format with the 7 sources and all the bibliographic information accurately and appropriately presented in APA format. So right now, what I'll ask you to do for this assignment is to take that references list, and in between the actual source citations, you write a 5 to 10 sentence informative summary of each of the sources. This is a good way just to make sure that you are dealing with the source material, that you're reading it, looking for good quotes, that you've got the main ideas down, and hopefully some of these summaries you'll be able to incorporate directly into your formal analytical report, or at least parts of them. Let me go over all of these things. The bulleted items are also in the grading criteria. So let's just look at that. First of all, I'll ask that you have 7 alphabetized entries representing a variety of sources on your topic. Each entry should be correctly written in APA, along with the introduction of the source in the first sentence, including the year in parentheses. That would be the APA documentation. Each entry should also state a clear main idea plus clearly connected supporting ideas. Enough so that you'll be reminded of what was in each source, and if you transfer this directly into your report, that your reader will have good clear access to that author's ideas. Next, each entry includes a correctly integrated quotation. Now this may not work out well. It isn't that often that you should need quotations, but just for the practice of it, for this assignment, I'm still going to ask that you just practice integrating quotes correctly. And then the last point is, of course, always the grammar issue. So, right on this main page, I have a model of an APA entry for summarizing sources. And here is the source. It is, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Sejda BD 1994, Reducing Transfer Shock Through Faculty Collaboration, a Case Study. It's printed in Community College Journal of Research and Practice, volume 18, issue 2, pages 189 through 99. And here is a brief summary. So let's go up here again to the grading criteria, and I've asked each entry be written in APA, including an introduction of the source. In the first sentence, along with the year in parentheses, here is the example. Sejda suggests that there are 3 major areas of transfer shock. We've got the introduction, just last name only of the author, followed by the year in parentheses. And that's it for APA documentation. Unless you're providing a quote, as you are in this case, and then you repeat this at the end of the quote. You repeat the parenthetical with the page number. Okay, so the next thing is to state the a clear main idea and the connecting supporting ideas. That first one was a very succinct summary of the main idea, a thesis idea. And following in nicely organized A, B, C sentences, you see the support for that main idea. And it's all very brief, succinct, concise. All right. The next criterion here is each entry includes a correctly integrated quotation or partial quote. And here's an example of a partial quote. A full quote would be a full sentence or sometimes full paragraphs even. We've got this, strongly emphasized that belonging would be promoted by mentoring, and he advocated for, quote, reducing the impact of transfer shock through faculty involvement and collaboration, end quote, page 199, and parentheses, period. So, the next example, I'll show you the full document of an annotated bibliography. This was from a course that I did not teach because I don't have any yet to show you since this is my first time through. But this one, let me get this up here, shows the whole document. Now, this actually shows a title page, and you might be interested in doing a copy-paste of your, or just opening up your corrected, revised references list of sources, and then adding to it this title page, so that you're actually beginning now in one document to bring together sources and parts of your formal analytical report. So you could make the title page for your report right here. Add a running head, which is a part of your title. This student's title was Special Education and Mainstreaming. Student's name, Heritage University. And then your next page would simply, you could say Annotated Bibliography, or you could just say summaries of sources or summaries of references, because later what you'll be doing is you've got your 7 sources here. You can keep that list intact for your formal report and just omit these summaries, or they'll be incorporated into the actual body of your report as you're writing this. I mean, this is just a possibility anyway. So for now, let's just look at the 7 the references as they're listed, all the bibliographic information. Here's Nelson, Critical Issues in Education, and the instructor commented that the capitalization rule was not correct, and you can see how she corrected these made these all small. All of these would be small letters. The only capitals would be the first letter of the title plus the first letter behind the colon. Everything else is a small title. Exceptions there are, but we'll get to those later on down the line. All right, we'll come back and talk about the actual summary. Let's look at the second reference. And again, the comment is on capitalization, and she has corrected all of the first letters had been capitalized, and they've been marked in red to show that they need to be small. Retrieved was spelled wrong as well. This is why I wanted to divide this up, so that all of these little details about the APA formatting are done for you in week 8, and you've got everything perfect already before you actually get to the annotated bibliography. Here's the same notation is the capitalization. She didn't do it this time, but each of these should be a small letter. Here's Brunswick Cull. And either the student started doing this correctly or the tracking isn't showing. But the only correction here that the instructor made was the capital P on parents after the colon. The only other capital is here at the beginning. Okay, no, I'll wait for the next one. Here it is. Silverman, FL, and Millspaw, R, 2006. Now, the capitalization is correct for this long title, including the capital H after the colon, the capital P at the beginning. And here is a journal. That is the title of an article in this journal called Teaching Exceptional Children Plus. Now notice this, that titles of journals are the way you would expect, the way we've been taught to capitalize titles. The E on exceptional, the C on children, the P on plus. And the note here is to say that the teaching here would not be all in caps, that APA would just keep the capital T only. So that's the main thing to remember is minor titles act just like sentences in this case. And journal titles you capitalize like you've been taught with capitalizing all of the main words. All right, same thing here, only here for sing, DK, PhD, as the note says, you don't include titles here. And the students started getting confused that for initials, you only have the last name, sing, plus the initials DK. You don't include the full name. Same note about the titles. These should all be small. Small g, small e, small t, small I. And for some reason they have forgotten the actual URL for the source. Okay, same thing on this last one. We don't need to read that. Let's go up then and look at another sample summary. We looked at one that was on the main page in MyHeritage under week 9. But let's read this one as well. We have, remember your criteria for grading. This lists 7 sources, and each entry introduces the author. So you use the author's last name plus the year in parentheses and a verb that indicates your thesis statement, or Nelson's thesis statement will follow. Nelson, 2010, states that there are many pros and cons to mainstreaming and to special education. Here's the main idea, and then the supporting details follow. I won't highlight those. Keep the factors in mind when deciding what is best for individual students. If mainstreaming, remember that it is not just adding the special education student to the classroom. There are accommodations that must be made so the student is successful. Providing mainstreaming is a democratic way. It is just and provides equal opportunity. The important ideas for mainstreaming special education students need to be taken into account for gifted students also. To to mainstream all students can be thought of as unrealistic. Teachers, classrooms, and students may not be capable of being mainstreamed. All people need to learn to work together. This is true whether students are gifted, average, or special needs. Now, there was an attempt at just quoting the word gifted, but the student only put one single quote. So what we'd want to do is, perhaps it was gifted students. All right, so this meets all the criteria for grading that you should keep in mind as you're writing your annotated bibliography or your summaries of sources. And I hope this will help you to not only engage in the actual source information, but to start thinking of where you will plug these into your report. So if you have any questions, as usual, please call or email, and I'll get right to them.